Joe's biggest problem is no longer just the enemy. Joe has spent years dealing with dangerous enemies. She's operated in some of the most complicated situations imaginable. But Season 3 is creating a different kind of problem for her. This time, Joe isn't just fighting an enemy she can see. She's fighting an enemy that seems to know her. They know where she lives. They understand how she operates. They understand the people around her. And most importantly, they appear to understand how to manipulate the situation without revealing their true intentions. That could make episode 4 very different from the previous episodes. Joe may finally realize that she isn't simply responding to an attack. She is being pulled into a much bigger operation. And the question becomes, who is controlling the board? The frantic hunt could change everything. One of the most interesting clues surrounding episode 4 is the idea that the team launches a frantic hunt. That immediately raises an important question. Who exactly are they hunting? Is it the person responsible for Joe's kidnapping? Is it the Russian operative connected to the larger network? Or are they actually hunting someone who has information about the entire operation? My theory is that Joe's team will be looking for a person who can finally connect the different pieces of the puzzle. And that person could know something Joe desperately needs to hear. The problem is that the enemy will also know they're coming. That means this hunt could turn into a race against time. Joe's team may have only one opportunity to capture the target. If they fail, the entire network could disappear. Theory 1, Joe was never the real target. Now here's where things get really interesting. What if Joe's kidnapping wasn't actually about Joe? Think about it. Joe is extremely valuable. She knows how intelligence operations work. She knows how the LIONESS program operates. She knows how American intelligence responds to threats. But perhaps the enemy didn't need Joe dead. Maybe they needed her distracted. Maybe they wanted Joe to focus on herself while another operation was happening somewhere else. If that's true, then Joe has been playing the enemy's game without realizing it. Every clue could have been designed to pull her deeper. Every suspicious person could have been placed in her path. Every lead could have been calculated. And eventually Joe could discover that the entire operation was designed to make her look in the wrong direction. Imagine the moment she realizes that. She could have the entire team working on the wrong problem. And that's exactly the kind of twist that could redefine Season 3. Theory 2, there is a mole. Another possibility is that someone inside the operation is leaking information. This theory becomes especially interesting because Joe's enemies seem to know too much. They know her movements. They know how to get close to her. They understand the team's response. That doesn't necessarily prove there's a mole. But in a story like Lioness, information is power. And if the enemy consistently knows what Joe is about to do, someone could be feeding them information. The big question is, who? It could be someone close to Joe. It could be someone higher up. Or it could be an operative who has been compromised. And I don't think the writers would make the traitor an obvious villain. The better twist would be someone we already trust. Someone who has worked with Joe. Someone who appears loyal. Someone whose actions only make sense after the truth is revealed. Elizaveta's role could become more important. Then we have Elizaveta. Her role is one of the biggest mysteries surrounding the season. Is she an ally? Is she an enemy? Or is she playing both sides? I don't think episode 4 will necessarily give us a complete answer. Instead, we could get another piece of information that makes her even more suspicious. Maybe Joe discovers that Elizaveta knows more about the operation than she originally admitted. Maybe she has information about the people behind the kidnapping. Or maybe Joe discovers that Elizaveta isn't the enemy at all. She could actually be trying to expose the same network Joe is investigating. That would create a very interesting situation. Joe could spend half the season believing someone is working against her, only to discover that person was secretly trying to help. Neal's fears could become a major storyline. While Joe is dealing with the international threat, there is another battle taking place at home. Neal. And this could become one of the most emotional parts of episode 4. Neal has always understood that Joe's job is dangerous. But understanding the danger from a distance is one thing. Experiencing the consequences personally is completely different. After everything that has happened, Neal could start wondering whether Joe's career is putting the entire family at risk. And that creates a difficult question for their marriage. How much danger is too much? How many missions can Joe go on before the people she loves become targets? And how long can Neal continue pretending that everything is normal? I think episode 4 could push Joe and Neal into a serious confrontation. Joe may say that she has responsibilities. Neal may respond that he has responsibilities too. Joe believes she's protecting her family by doing her job. Neal may believe she's putting the family in danger by continuing to do it. And neither side is. Could Cruz return to the center of the story? Another theory worth watching is Cruz. Cruz understands the Lioness world better than most people. She knows what undercover work does to you. She knows how easily an operative can lose themselves inside an assignment. And she understands Joe's methods. If Joe realizes she can't trust everyone around her, she may need someone she knows she can rely on. That could bring Cruz back into a much bigger role. But there is another possibility. Cruz may not agree with Joe's decisions. She has changed. Her experiences have changed her. And if Joe asks Cruz to take another dangerous assignment, Cruz could question whether the mission is worth the cost. That could create another major conflict. Kyle could make a dangerous decision. Then there's Kyle. Kyle is exactly the kind of person who could take matters into his own hands. If he gets information about a potential target, he may not want to wait. And that could be a problem. Because the enemy may already be expecting him. Imagine Kyle receives information that could lead directly to the people behind the operation. He decides to move. But Joe doesn't know. Kyle walks into the situation expecting to find the enemy. Instead, he finds a trap. Suddenly Joe has another decision to make. Does she continue the mission? Or does she risk everything to save her own operative? That is the kind of impossible choice that Lioness repeatedly puts its characters through. The real enemy could be much bigger. This is perhaps my biggest theory for the entire season. The people we've seen so far may only be the beginning. The Russian connection could be one part of a much larger intelligence network. And if that's true, taking down one operative won't solve the problem. Joe could capture someone and discover that they're only following orders. She could arrest another person and discover they're being controlled by someone else. Eventually, she could realize that there isn't one enemy. There is an entire network. And that would explain why the investigation keeps becoming more complicated. The closer Joe gets to the truth, the more questions appear. Why the title, Murder Hornets, could be important. There's also something interesting about the episode 4 title. Murder Hornets. That title could simply be a thematic reference. But it also fits Joe's situation perfectly. A hornet becomes extremely dangerous when its nest is threatened. And Joe's world has absolutely been threatened. Her team has been attacked. Her personal life has been disrupted. Her family is under pressure. So what happens next? Joe stops waiting. She becomes the hunter. Instead of reacting to the enemy, she starts attacking the network before they can attack her again. That could be the turning point. Joe may decide that the only way to protect her family is to destroy the threat completely.